there's this moment passing where all three of you are working to administer aid, and Isaac, at the completion of your vision, everything has just gone black. Soundless, visionless, empty.
So, and actually, that's a question. So I'm like, I am aware of a blackness. I'm not just like, you're unconscious. You're not like realizing.
You are not unconscious.
Okay.
But you are also not what I would call conscious.
Sure, yeah.
It's like you don't have a sense of time passing. You just sort of exist in this almost purgatory of sorts.
Cool.
Of like, you are aware, like you know you exist, but you have no idea what's happening. You can't like call out. You're just sort of stuck in
That's
this.
awesome. I kind of like it.
It is a nice relief from the rigors of daily life. Having all cast the spells that you have and having let another tick of regenerate pass because it continues to get a little bit of HP at the start of each of its next turns. Eventually, Isaac and Karash, especially Isaac, Tessie and Lena and Karash, you can actually start to see, as the healing continues to be poured into him, this like twitching behind the closed eyes of Isaac, which is an improvement over before when there was no movement whatsoever, but still seems as though it's like sorting through some kind of effect. And then they shoot open. And Isaac, you can see the others, the three of them, and one of these lovely nurses. Yeah, I know. Ooh, fetishes. Sort of either crouched or standing over you, looking at you, concerned.
Do I wake with a start?
Yes.
I'm gonna like jump up and like draw my gun and be like,
you awake with a start, and you go to jump up, and your body does not respond in the way you are expecting. There's like a twitch, and your arm sort of goes to your side where your gun would be, but the coordination is not there.
Ah.
But you are fully conscious. You're aware. You can see the others around you, but as far as like rapid movements at the moment, you go to, like your brain's like, oh, what's happening? I gotta be, and you are extremely sluggish.
Is half my face numb? Did I have a stroke?
No, and you still have a splitting headache. You feel extremely lethargic. But you do feel fine given those modifiers.
Can I talk?
Yes.
How much time has passed?
You've only been out a couple seconds, a minute or two.
Oh, good. I was afraid it was a lot longer than that.
No offense, but we probably would have left you here if it was that long.
Yeah,
I pat him on the chest.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me, so I must be back.
Good. And I pat him on the cheek. Because we've got things to do, Isaac. Now tell us, what did you see?
Yeah, it's as he said. And I'm trying to shake this off, too, because I don't want him being right that it was too much. So I don't want him to have that victory. So has he been brought back yet?
Has he?
I think they're still working on it, right? Last we saw.
Yeah, so the other person, and they can sort of tell you this, I suppose, if the immediate danger with Isaac is clear, is casting Resurrection on Faust. It takes an hour, though. So she's working on it, but no, he is not back yet.
I thought they might just go with like a Revivify, but like, that's...
Well, essentially, in game terms, they wanted to make sure that he was dead long enough to have the effect trigger, so they wanted to wait a few minutes before bringing him back, which meant they had to go something bigger.
Okay. Can I move yet? Or
so
is
you
it
can
still...
see, like, she has her hands on him, and they are also glowing with this whitish yellow, really bright light that's reflecting off this fucking white hallway. It's just like, but she's working on it. And that was the question?
Can I stand up?
Slowly, yes.
Okay.
I will support, assuming you don't like slap me away or
No,
something.
no, that's fine. I appreciate it. I say,
you should probably stay down for now.
nah, I'm fine. Let's. Tessian is not the most compassionate, but I actually do agree we need to get going. So let's get on with it.
After all, I'm sure Isaac's perfectly fine. Just a little toss-up, huh? And I like brush off his shoulders and try to help him get to his feet and all that.
Yeah, just like when you were skewered by Grail, just a bit of a toss-up.
Nah, I mean, I'm confident that you can handle it. Yes.
Let's
So you're
get
in a bind
going.
now. Do you agree with me, or do you admit that it was too much for you to handle?
I know exactly. That's why I'm trying to avoid it.
It's the devil's choice.
So I say we don't need to wait around to see if he comes back. I'm sure it'll be fine. So let's go. This is what he wanted after all. And I look over once just to see his dead fucking body on the ground. And then I like look away with like purpose. Like I don't want to look back again. And I'm like, let's go.
It should be noted, just for the record, you have 1 HP
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
and also a level of exhaustion.
I was actually kind of hoping that would happen. So,
Oh,
so do I need to mark that?
I don't know if they have a space to mark exhaustion on the
I'm gonna
sheet.
say I'm just gonna write it in flaw. Yeah, in flaws actually that was a appropriate box.
Traits.
And this is just disadvantage on skill checks. Yeah.
Ability checks, yes.
Fun fact: my character in our other campaign also has exhaustion right now. So it's been a
He's
good
eating all
week
the exhaustion.
for my characters.
take a nap.
So Cavus assures you that he's in good hands, that these are some of the finest clerics in the country, and having made sure that Isaac was okay a second time, just be like, hey, you good? Like, the second one also moves over to help assist the first now that like they were originally going to do, which might shave some time off, but even so, will still take a while. Cavus is going to stick around until he's back to make sure he's back in, to make sure Faust, so I'm not going all pronouns, to make sure Faust is back in his cell and of good condition. So he says, instead of accompanying you to the teleportation hall, he just bids you farewell for now and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
Stay safe out there.
You too, Cavus. We hope to see you soon.
We'll come back with a completed shrine, and we'll be ready for the next one.
These are strange times indeed, but I believe in you.
And us and you. You've been nothing but a good ally and a strong right arm of the Empress. I'm sure she's proud of your work.
I hope so. It's what gives me purpose. All right, be well. And shoves you out of the hallway. You make your way back to the teleportation hall. You've been here a couple of times before. But this time you're headed to a new chamber in it. One that you haven't been to before because it's the one heading to Calasabia. And inside is a member of the Alabaster Cabal watching over things, making sure people don't just come willy-nilly, making sure they're aware of what this is exactly and where they're headed. In particular, this is one where they don't want people just wandering into because it puts them in the middle of a desert, and they don't want people just being like, oh, I'm just going to go out there without thinking about it. But it seems like when you're headed to that place that he's already been made aware of the situation, so he quickly grants you access without really bothering you or anything. And inside is another large glyph on the floor.
Can I memorize that glyph if I take a minute?
If you'd like to.
I would love to. So that I can teleport back here. Now, the question is that to this room in particular? Is every room different?
Each of the sigils are different, so it will be to this particular room, but it is a way to sort of give you a point in Waychester, even if it's not exactly right.
Okay. I wasn't sure if do they have like a general room that I should be trying to memorize, or like, I guess it doesn't really matter, but.
Each of them are
See.
specific, seemingly granted with purpose to the handful of places that are allowed access to Waychester in such a manner. So there is not just one generic one because they are meant to come from destinations that have been approved by the Empress. And yes, it does still strike you as perhaps a little odd that that includes Faust Dryden's Manor. But it does.
I need to memorize that one too.
You can visit Isaac whenever you want.
Exactly. Waychester, Calasabia Circle.
My best friend.
Yes. Who lives at his home.
Aww.
There's going to be a calamity, and the only ones that are going to be left to save everyone is going to be Isaac and Tessian at some point. And it's going to be awesome.
He'll be standing
I
back
would
to
watch
back,
that.
surrounded by hundreds of creatures.
I would totally watch that.
Do we kiss at the end? Is that what happens?
No,
Because
no.
that's what Michelle
Ship
wanted.
it.
Yeah.
Well, once I've had a minute to memorize this, in case I don't know. I don't even have the materials for it yet, but I would like to grab them when I can. So.
Okay. You are getting more used to this feeling, but one never truly gets used to the experience just because of how rapid and intense this feeling is of that stomach drop when you step through a teleportation circle. As your vision returns to you, you find yourself in a poorly lit room that has a series of barrels and boxes and crates in it, just on the exterior. They're not really blocking the glyph in any way. They're not immediately next to you as you enter. But it appears like this is, in addition to being the room where people can teleport, also a storage room. There is no one else inside the room. It is lit enough that you can see. It's not, it's dimly lit. No other individuals, and a door across the way from where the glyph is.
Okay, I will take a minute to study this glyph as well,
Okay.
if that is okay.
Add it to your list.
I
No
would
idea where we are.
I would like to use one hit dice. I think for like mental HP loss, it's dumb to be like, oh, I just, do a thing. But maybe like I'm slowly starting to recover.
To use one hit dice is going to cost you an hour.
Oh, okay.
You can only use them on a short rest.
Gotcha.
You could, however, I would say once, burn your second wind.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe I'll do that. That honestly almost works for the story better anyways. I'll have to look up what that is, but I can find it.
I think it's just a D10 plus con plus something, maybe.
Okay.
It's not huge, but it's enough to work in a pinch.
Yeah.
D10 plus your fighter level.
Fighter level, yeah.
I
A
think that's
D10
what
plus
I do.
con plus fighter level, or
I
just
think just fighter level.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
fighter level, which is still D10,
D10
plus
plus-
9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bonus action, so... Now, normally you're not really allowed to use this out of combat. I will say, again, for the sake of this, you can do it once.
Cool.
What's the cooldown on that? Short rest?
Yep,
Long
shorter,
rest.
long
I
rest.
Short or long
don't
rest, yeah.
know.
So yeah, you could do it once, even out of combat.
All right, I have 18 HP.
So it
That's
sort of splits the difference
know.
with what you're going for thematically anyways.
that's better. 18 HP.
Okay.
I can walk straight. Ish.
Once I've got this room down, we'll go to the door. I mean, well, where are we?
Mm-hmm. As you go to the door and try the handle, it's locked.
It's the only exit, I take it?
Yep. As far as you can tell, if you want to start moving around a whole bunch of boxes and barrels and stuff.
I'll knock on the door.
Okay. Isaac, I will note, even with the healing, you do feel a bit better and you do feel sturdier on your feet. There is still just this nagging, dull pain in your temple.
Yeah.
It's not sharp like before. It's not like, but it's just kind of like, just persistently there, like this bearing down on your temple.
Okay.
Tessian, you knock on the door, and you hear what sounds like a startled response on the other side. And a couple of voices go, "Were you expecting any visitors?" Somebody else says, "No, but you know how it goes. Sometimes they show up unexpectedly. Better see who it is." The first voice calls out, says, "All right, if you have hands, we'd like them up in the air as you step out, please. Gonna open this door. I don't want any surprises."
Okay.
Does everyone
Very
comply?
Yes, very well.
I'm thinking.
I'll kind of like gently elbow you if I see that your hands aren't up yet.
You take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm gonna
No!
I'm gonna like sweep my jacket back so that my guns are easily accessible. And I'll put my hands like here.
You hear someone fiddling with the door, and then it pulls open, and your eyes haven't had a ton of time to adjust to the dark, but it is much brighter out in this main chamber that you see as he swings the door open. It appears to be a guard in decent metal armor, somewhat well kept, but also dirtied, stained, seemingly almost like rusted in some places. And there's another guard sitting at a table nearby, kind of looking in your direction as well. Hands by his sword at his waist. And same with the guy who's at the door opening it for you, because they're not entirely sure what to expect of this. And says, "We don't often have folks coming through here. What's your business?"
Yes, we are the Order of the Black Opal on a special mission on behalf of the Empress of Winchester. I am Tessian Black, Prince of Black Harbor, and these are my associates.
Kind of gives you this look for a second, kind of like, And he goes, "Well, I don't know that I've heard of a Order of the Black Opal, but I do know that access to this is pretty limited, so if you've come through, stands to reason you do have business with the Empress. Apologies for the interrogation of sorts, but we're really here to make sure nobody goes through the other direction."
Everyone's doing their part. I understand, and there's an equal amount of guard on the other side as well. We were just speaking with Cavus, in fact.
Ah, yes. I have heard of Cavus. Good man. Doesn't come out this way very often, but we don't see much of the Crusaders in this place. Well, I won't say it's lawless, given our presence here, but there are some undesirable types here that you should be aware of if you're intending to spend time in the city, particularly pickpockets. Make sure you're aware of your belongings.
Yes. What would it take for us to secure means of travel, wagon, horses, that sort of thing?
It says... Oop, hold on. That's not scrolling because I'm in the other menu. Haha. Says, I would check out the Sandy Outlet. Northwest side of town. Quite a few different shops, including some means of travel. Are you intending to travel throughout the city or outside of it?
Outside.
I don't imagine we'll be spending much time in the city, in fact.
It will also need lodgings as well for the night.
Says, all right, there's an inn pretty close. That should be the easy part. Securing travel outside of the city should be doable, but there are not many folks willing to try it. Anybody who does usually has their own accommodations set up, but there are mechanisms in place to help, I know. Ask around the Sandy Outlet, you should find what you need. And as you're having a second to kind of just step out into this new room, it appears to be a jail of sorts. This area has its own barred off access. The guard that you see is actually sitting at the table outside of it. This person has come in through that gate to get to this door that was also locked, and they also appear to have people posted outside of it at all times. There appear to be a couple of people sleeping in cells. It is, at this point, getting to be like 10, 11 o'clock at night. But for the most part, the cells are not all full. There's about a half dozen of them, and you only see the two people. But that's where you appear to have headed here, which seems a little strange on one hand, but it is what it is. But that's essentially the information the guard has for you, unless you have any other questions for him. He's moved out of your way to allow you to pass, And in fact, is sort of kind of like, not pushing you out, but like, let's leave this area so I can lock it back up. He's already locked the door to the teleportation circle again. Seems to be pretty systematic in his approach to this because, again, they don't want any just ne'er-do-wells to be like, I'm just going to go teleport to Waychester. Whee!
Tessian will just sort of look around. Are you local militia or here on behalf of the Waychester and the Empress?
Says, I guess it's sort of like a militia, yes. We don't really have a town guard necessarily. It's more people who have just volunteered to help in a place that needs the help. And we do the best we can, I suppose. There's more crime than we can keep up with, but luckily it's all relatively minor. Not a lot of killings that go on here. It's just people's wallets get lifted or someone breaks into their home, takes a few things. There are some people with some wealth here, and there are other people who are attracted by that wealth. Let's just put it that way.
You mentioned the outlet for transportation. Is that where we would also secure lodgings, or should we go someplace else?
Says, no, there's an inn not far from here, with a tavern and maybe 5 minutes east of here. Can't miss it. Bigger 2-story building. Most of the houses are 2-story as well, but they're much smaller. This one will stick out. You should be able to see it when you step outside.
We appreciate your help. If you don't mind, we'll be on our way.
Very well. Hopefully we won't see you again. Seems to be joking to the idea of you being thrown in jail.
I should hope not. And I will head out into the city streets.
Okay. As you step outside,
You are pickpocketed.
somebody immediately just comes, yoink, and takes your bag of holding.
Ah!
And so sets off a madcap chase that you do not have time for.
For the record, when he did say that there's like pickpocketing and to be aware of your items, I am like tugging the bag of holding.
Okay.
Yeah, I am trying to be aware if that changes anything.
Sure. Stepping outside, there are a few things that catch your eye right away. Number one, it's cold. Not as cold as you've experienced somewhat recently. You're not frozen to the bone. There's not this swirling wind. There's no snow on the ground. There is just sand, as far as you can see, is covering the streets as they were. But seeing as it's nighttime and dead of night at this point, I mean, again, going on 11 o'clock perhaps, it is chilly. At the very least, it kind of makes you sort of like reposition your clothing, as it were. Just kind of like, just shrug it back over your shoulders to make sure you're feeling a little warmer. The other thing you notice is there are lights everywhere. Colorful lights marking the streets, and the immediate areas around you are especially lit up because as you kind of look around, overhead there are coverings between all the buildings that seem to connect them on the roof level. So all the light that's down here sort of just reflects and then comes back down. It does make it such that you don't have a great view of the city overall. You can see down the street, and sure enough, as you look to the east, to your right, as you step outside, you do see what appears to be a larger building than the rest that sort of sticks out just a mile or two down the street. One of the things you can see, though, as you can just peek out in these little gaps in between these panels above you, is what appears to be almost like two searchlights just back and forth in the night sky. Can't see any of the stars, so it's kind of strange for you, Lena, because you're like, it's dead of night, but it's so bright between your immediate surroundings and these that not a star to be seen.
This place is a hellhole.
I don't know, I quite like it, actually. I think Thea would like it as well. Colorful. I wonder what we can find here. If we have the time.
The majority of the buildings around you seem to be made out of wood, stone, even a few with an adobe. What you are not seeing, unlike quite a few of the cities you've been in the major hubs, is any metal whatsoever. Stands to reason it probably gets real hot.
Well, I think we will head to the east where they said we could get lodging. So we could try to get people like Isaac sleeping because they are tired and dead.
Wait, so what time is it right now? I want
11 o'clock.
to 11 p.m. obviously. So
It's late.
By the time you did all the stuff there, it was already like 7 o'clock when you got to the palace and did some stuff. So, 10, 11 o'clock.
is there anything else we can do first to set up for tomorrow?
I think I'll do the rounds, get our transportation, check on supplies, extra water, and the like, and then I'll head back to the inn.
All right.
Isaac, you should go to bed soon. You are not well.
I'm need some rest, but I'm fine for the time being if I can help at all with securing our transportation.
I think we should try not to split up, but I think teams of 2 would be fine, especially if this place is filled with as many criminals as they seem to imply. But first things first, we should go get our, places to sleep for the night. Walk and talk, boys. Walk and talk. It's 11
West Wing.
o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. We gotta get a place to sleep.
Yeah, we need the camera following us, please.
Sure. And just like Aaron Sorkin, you all have plenty of witty things to say.
Wonderful.
Even Karash, he's unexpectedly eloquent. If I could say it, it would be more eloquent.
And I just rapid fire. All of it comes out like God, like I'm not right
I
now.
mean, it's a wonderful
We're
example,
all ruining the
actually.
example. And Lena is a strong, independent woman, but it's uncanny. It always seems like men have to explain things to her. And look, I like Sorkin. Let's just be honest. He has a type. Anyways. One of the things you're noticing is that this is by far the busiest city you have seen at night. There are plenty of regular folks seemingly just walking about the street as you make your way towards the inn. And none of them seem to be paying you much mind. They're not ignoring you or evading you in any way. They're just kind of like going about their business. A few of them in particular are talking about... Why the hell am I blanking? Oh, yeah. The prismatic wheel. And even just in passing, you kind of hear that might be a casino in the area. And they are upset about having lost everything. Sort of commiserating each other with bad beat stories, which are the worst kind of stories because nobody else cares about your bad luck. But the two of them seem to have found at least a little bit of camaraderie in the fact that they both got their shirts taken from them. So, not literally, but almost literally.
Do you hear that, Tessie? And maybe you can go gamble all of our money away.
You're right. I should probably consider it.
Oh. You must have better luck than them, right?
Of course.
Why would you gamble our money away? That
Joking, Karash. Joking.